Greetings guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I have made a good many videos on this channel about toxic parents. That is not a topic that is foreign to me or to you. It is something that we talk about a lot. But one part of the family and toxicity and trauma within the family that I have neglected to talk about is siblings. The relationship between siblings is different to any other type of relationship a person will have. Siblings are obviously closer in age to you, so you've got that sort of like friendship type relationship, but you also have an understanding of each other in a way that no one else will because you are born into the same family, you live under the same roof, you have the same parents, so very similar like environments and upbringings. And so there's, no one really knows you quite like a sibling does. It's one of the reasons I have a sister in the first place is that I wasn't planned. My parents did not want kids, or my mum always says I wasn't brave enough to make that decision for myself. So when her birth control failed, it was like, it's a sign it was meant to be, whatever. My sister, however, was planned. And the main motivator behind, my parents deciding to have a second kid is because they both grew up with a lot of siblings and the whole mentality of you need someone that understands you, right? Like no one else gets you like a sibling does. And my mum always said you needed someone to complain about your parents to that actually understood where you were coming from because no one else witnesses it, no one else experiences it. You need someone to understand your childhood and have that sort of connection and bond with them. And I'm very, very grateful for that because, my sister and I do talk about it a lot. We do have a good bond over that. And although we have a 4-year age gap, it meant that, growing up, there was a lot of separation between us because we related to different things at different points in our life, but now we have like a more adult relationship and actually talk about life and childhood, etc. And there is no one who relates to me quite like she does in a lot of ways. And I think that is one of the most beautiful parts of sibling relationships. And yeah, obviously, we're siblings. We bicker, we have disagreements and arguments, and we frustrate each other, and we can tease each other and just have a little bit of headbutting and fighting, but overall mainly we love each other a lot. And I spent a lot of years protecting her and she's also spent a lot of time protecting me. We kind of looked out for each other and protected each other, and just sort of, even when we weren't super close, there was always that love and protection that existed there. However, a lot of people's relationships with their siblings look so different to that. And I wasn't quite aware of this until relatively recently, right? People talk about sibling rivalries and bickering, and I always sort of think about what my sister and I have, which is a lot of jokes and laughing and playful sort of banter. But for some people, it's actually horrifying. There is levels of violence and abuse that exists that is played off as just being just sibling things, and it's so terrifying. And I really wanted to talk about it because it is so over normalized to a degree that I did not realize. I started seeing it logging into TikTok, and I had a couple people DM me telling me to talk about this, and seeing how intense some of it is and how overly normalized some of the behavior between siblings is so incredibly concerning. And I think that it really needs to have a conversation and a discussion. So today we're going to have a little bit of a dive into some sibling rivalries and just the way some siblings interact with each other and what people think is normal and okay. So I'm going to put a trigger warning here for this video about abuse and family abuse, sibling abuse. So if that is a subject that is triggering for you, then please do click off this video and join me in the next one. Let's have a dive into some examples of what I'm talking about. Specifically, there was a trend that happened kind of recently where people were coming out being let's talk about older sibling trauma. You have it from both perspectives. There's videos being uploaded by the younger sibling talking about what their older siblings did to them, and then there's videos from the older siblings talking about what they did to their younger siblings. And it's concerning. Let's get into it. I guess we're sharing older sibling traumas. Well, this one time we were fighting over the computer and he straight up pulled out his BB gun, pointed it directly on my arm and went full on GTA. This is so obviously not okay. And obviously in this post, she didn't say that it was okay. She called it trauma and she was sharing that it was trauma. And there are 2 comments on this TikTok. One that says veteran older sibling status right there with a smiley face and LMAO. And I just, how is this funny? Right? This is what I don't understand is like people reading this and straight up being like, lol, older brother shit, lol, this is so funny, ha 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 ha. Like sibling rivalry, it's no. Like I personally have never had the desire to cause physical harm to my sister. Not a single time. That has never once occurred to me. We have bickered before. We've had disagreements, we've had fights, we've had moments where it's like, oh my God, you're pissing me off so bad. You can have little arguments or even like play fights or whatever, but I've never once in my life had the desire to hurt my sister. Ever. Not a single time. If we're fighting over using the computer, sure, maybe we'll yell at each other a little bit. Can like whine a bit, you know, when we're young, it's being like, it's not fair, you know, that sort of shit. But would I ever shoot her with a BB gun? Absolutely the fuck not. I don't understand why that's viewed as such a funny, normal thing. You know, like I really just need someone to explain that to me, because in what other scenario is a disagreement resulting in physical harm like a reasonable response? I can't think of any other type of relationship where having an argument over who gets to use the computer, like shooting them with a BB gun, is like the appropriate okay thing to do. There's no other situation in which that's okay. So I don't understand why suddenly it's funny and okay just because you're siblings. And then we move into this one that says, my brother used to pin me down on the ground and hold a loogie over my face, and if I was lucky, he'd slurp it back up before it fell on my face. And this has like hundreds of thousands of likes and 770 comments. Again, I'm just really struggling to see like the fun in this. You know what I mean? It's like my brother used to pin me to the ground and like dangle a loogie over my face, and then if I was lucky, he sucked it back up. Like this is just a power trip. The only thing he gains out of this is that he gets to laugh at causing you distress and pain. And that's just fine. That's just okay. We're all just like sitting here and ha-haing at that. I need people to understand that that's not normal. That's not okay. That's actually a really fucked up thing to be doing. I don't give a fuck if you're gonna sit here and be like, you just don't understand, it's just sibling thing. I have a sister. I have a little sister. I have never once in my life felt like I need to overpower her to feel better about myself. I have never once had the desire to make her feel small so I can feel bigger. That's not something I've ever had any urge to do. And if that's something I ever felt the urge to do, I would hope someone would send me straight to fucking therapy. The top comment on this post too is, now that's a good brother right there, lol. And that has 4,700 likes. And I once again want to ask, like, why is it socially acceptable to do this just because you're siblings? Explain to me any other type of relationship where this is an appropriate thing to do, and tell me why it's different just because you have the same parents and live in the same house. Because I don't see what the difference is. I don't understand why it's abuse if anyone else does it, but it's totally fine and funny if a sibling does it. Because regardless of the relationship that you have, it's still someone who is making themselves feel powerful by making someone else feel smaller. You are causing distress to someone else to get a laugh. That's not funny. That's not sibling rivalry. That is just straight up the definition of abuse. We love each other, so it's fine. It's all in good fun. For who? How is this fun? What do you think this is teaching each other about what a relationship looks like? You know, if this is how you show love and it's being enforced as like, this is normal, the younger sibling is learning that, you know, love means sometimes you have to accept being hurt and having someone dominate you. And the older sibling is being enforced with the fact that it's okay to abuse power over someone that you love. It's not teaching very good lessons about what a relationship looks like and what love looks like. Like, I think people fail to realize that we learn about love and relationships through our families. You know, people always talk about daddy issues, right? Making that the woman's problem, but you know, where it's
Kitty wake up. Kitty look in mirror. Kitty no like what kitty see. Not ugly, just not enough. Kitty never felt like enough. Daddy Kitty promised to come to recital, didn't show. Promised birthday gift, didn't call. Kitty waited and waited. Kitty learned silence means don't get your hopes up. Kitty learned love can vanish without reason. Kitty learned early. Love is maybe. Sometimes love shows up. Sometimes love disappears. So Kitty always scared it'll disappear again. Now, Kitty loved like that too. Kitty disappear when things get too close. Huh? Kitty chase when someone pull away. Kitty think, if I try hard enough, they stay. Kitty scared to ask for things. Scared to speak needs. Scared if Kitty wants too much, people leave. Kitty tired of trying. Kitty overthink texts. Kitty reread messages 10 times. Kitty apologize too much. Kitty say, sorry, just for existing.
They're viewing relationships through the way they learned about relationships, which is from their parents. You know, they are the ones modeling behavior. You are learning what love looks like from the people in your life. And your siblings are some of those people. The way your siblings treat you is teaching you about relationships. Like, your siblings are meant to be your friends. And if they are doing this and it is being validated and being told that that's okay, you are learning that that's an okay thing to exist within a relationship, especially if it's being enforced and validated by parents too. Like, it is just constantly telling these kids that this is how love looks. It is okay to treat people like this and accept this treatment. I don't give a fuck if you're saying it's only appropriate with siblings. That's not how this works. All relationships are interwoven to a degree, and we learn about love from the people in our lives, and the people who are there first and in our lives the most. We are learning about relationships from them. And little siblings so often look up to their older siblings and will do what they can to please them and then model their behavior or fall into what they are being told because they want to be like them and to be loved by them. Another comment on this was, my brother held me by the ankles and dangled me over the banister with tile floor at the bottom. Which is horrifying. Oh my god. Oh my god. And people replying to that saying, but did he drop you? Exactly. Character development with a laughing face? Like, what here is funny? I'm so struggling to understand. If anyone could please spell it out to me like I'm 5 years old about why sibling abuse is totally fine and socially acceptable. Why are we allowed to do this? Why are siblings expected to just accept this treatment and be told like it's just normal? And you see comments being like, how do I explain this to an only child? You don't. You don't, because there's no explanation or justification. You can't use being related to someone as an excuse to abuse them. It doesn't matter if you're the same age. It doesn't matter if you're related. None of that fucking matters. You should not be your sibling's first bully. You're meant to look out for each other. You're meant to love each other, and this is not how you show love. Threatening to kill someone as a joke is never funny. I don't care what your relationship is. I don't care how you're related. I don't care if it's all for fun. It's not funny. There is zero scenarios in which this is an okay or funny thing to do. And if you are feeling good about this, if you find it funny to dangle someone over the edge of a banister with a tile floor at the bottom, if you think that's funny, you need help. And if you are someone who is being treated like that by a sibling and being told that it's just normal, it's just sibling behavior, it's not. It's not. Coming from someone who is an older sibling, coming from someone who, you know, has seen other people who have siblings, this is not the way you treat a sibling. This is not the way you should accept being treated by a sibling, because it's not okay. And if the people in your life are validating that, they are validating abuse, and you are valid in feeling upset and hurt by that, because it is not okay and it is not normal. No matter how much people try to normalize it, it's just trying to justify their own actions, because it's not okay. Another comment, my brother would make me cry and wouldn't let me up until I licked the carpet. And another person replying saying, your brother is now a legend among men. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Like, straight up, I feel like I'm losing my goddamn mind. Because you would never find comments like this on posts about any other type of relationship. Just change out the word brother to any other person, right? Like, it's abuse. It's straight up. You are abusing your power. You are manipulating someone. You are hurting someone. If you are holding someone down and not letting them up until they do something because you've told them to and they're crying, you need fucking therapy. That's not okay. Being a sibling is not a get out of jail free card. You don't get to just be an abuser and then be like, yeah, but I'm her brother, so it's fine. No, No, that's not how this fucking works. When these older brothers were treating their younger sisters like this, I'm so scared for how they are going to treat future partners. I'm so scared for how they view women. It's horrifying. And if parents are just like brushing this off or not calling it out as an issue or just saying it's sibling things, then they're neglectful parents and they're doing a shitty job. Parents should call this shit out and do something about it. Don't take the abuser's side in this situation. It's like so much gaslighting of these younger siblings that exists, and it's so sad. And it's just so heavily enforcing negative relationships that are going to exist in the future. Speaking on parents being neglectful, we have this story. My older sister hasn't given me any trauma, but my older brother once got mad at 8-year-old me for annoying him. He was 14 or 15. So he took me out to the garage, pressed my face against the car headlight, started the car and honked the horn loudly while the lights were painfully blaring in my eyes. I was crying hysterically, apologizing and begging him to stop. My whole family watched him do that, but nobody stopped him because it was just some brotherly discipline. And you have people in the comments asking, how was you holding your head against the light if he was blaring the horn and turning the car horn on? And people pointed out that it's like, because if he got up and ran, the punishment would have been worse. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. And that displays how heavily abused he has been throughout his life, to the point where he feels afraid of his brother, to the point where he will accept abuse because he knows that if he doesn't, the abuse will be worse. And his parents just stand there and call it brotherly discipline, as though this is a totally normal, fine, okay thing to do. Brothers being brothers. You know, we fight sometimes. It's normal to fight with your brother. Like, I did this shit all the time. I was always violent with my brother, causing him emotional and physical trauma. Like, what is going on? What do you think you're teaching your kids about future relationships? How do you think this is going to affect them? How are you just neglecting this as an issue? I just don't understand what's going through the heads of any of the people involved in this. And I hope that in this situation, this guy, as soon as he was able to, got the fuck out. And I hope he's no contact with his entire family, except maybe his older sister, because not okay of his parents, they're not okay of his brother. And the fact that like his brother just got away with it and that was never punished or disciplined or anything, like he was just like, yeah, you can go abuse your brother, that's totally fine. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, it's not. Hold your kids accountable. Jesus Christ. This so heavily impacts the way you go through life. And this trauma is going to stick with him forever. You know, he's going to be the one who ends up spending thousands of dollars in therapy while his brother goes about living his life feeling like he's a big man who can abuse people because he was never called out for it. This next one's a little bit lighter, but I still wanted to have a bit of a conversation about it. And that is, why do you have trust issues? How I grew up. And it's 3 brothers standing there and they put their hoods over their face and they're gonna have a pillow fight blind. But the 2 older ones take their hoods off, so they are not blindfolded. And they go in and they whack their brother really, really hard with a pillow till it knocks him off his feet. And then they whack him really hard again and then just run off laughing. And like, listen, I understand that this one is what people call very much more normalized, just like fun sibling fun. You know, they're hitting each other with pillows. It's not going to hurt each other. They're just being brothers. This is just how brothers behave. But I just really struggle with it because I just struggle to understand how violence is something that brings people joy. What joy do you get out of like 2 of you hitting your brother incredibly hard with a pillow? Like, sure, pillows are soft, but it fucking hurts to be hit with one really hard. Like knocking him off his feet to the ground and then hitting him really hard again with the pillows and then walking off and laughing. Like, I just fail to understand what's funny about it. I fail to understand what the fun in violence is. And I know that people will be here being like, it's not that deep. It's just boys being boys, brothers being brothers. It's like, but I don't think we should be saying that violence is boys being boys. I don't think we should be normalizing the fact that violence equals brotherly relationships. I don't think we should be normalizing that violence is how men show affection. I just don't fuck with the normalization of violence. And I know that it's not super aggressive violence. And I'm not here saying that this in particular is like abusive and they hate each other. I'm more coming from my own perspective here where I'm just truly trying to understand. And if any of you could explain to me what's fun about causing physical harm to another person, I would really love to hear it because I don't get it and I feel like I'm missing something. Whacking each other with a pillow is one thing, but teaming up to like knock your sibling off their feet and then hit them really hard, I'm just not understanding. And everyone's always like, again, they're like, how do I explain this to someone who doesn't have a sibling? I do have a sibling and I don't understand. So please tell me, because I don't get it. And then you have stories like this one. Real surprised no one has uncovered the truth of older brother trauma. My brother could roll me down the stairs and I almost die, and I would ask him to do it again if it meant I got to hang out with him. Which is so sad. But this ties back into what I was saying before about how much like younger siblings look up to their older siblings. Like, you are, as an older sibling, a role model. You know, you are the first person outside of your parents that like your sibling really knows. They watch you and they think you are the coolest person in the world. These older siblings in these situations know full well that this is how their younger siblings are feeling. Like, this brother knew that his sister just wanted to hang out with him, and so he abused that power. It was, oh, I can make my sister's life a living fucking hell and hurt her to the point of nearly killing her because she'll let me do it. She loves me so much. She admires me so much that I can do anything I want. It's so fucking sad and so fucked up. And so often these younger siblings, or any sibling who's facing this sort of abuse, are invalidated because people do just go, oh yeah, that happened with my brother too. Like, half the comments on all of these are just people telling the stories of what their siblings did to them. And it's like, I'm so sorry this happened to you all. And I think that this does need to be a conversation, but I don't think we should be talking about it like it's a normal thing. We need to stop being like, oh yeah, casual conversation. Let's talk about all this shit our siblings did because it's obviously normal and what sibling. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is not how siblings should be acting. This is not something we should be talking about in a casual way like it's the most normal thing in the world. It's not. Your sibling should not be your first bully. They should not be abusing you. That's not what a sibling relationship should look like, ever. Ever. I cannot imagine intentionally hurting my sister and abusing the power that I had over her when I was younger. And then you have the other side of this. You have the other perspective, because for some reason, older siblings jumped on this trend and were like, oh, I'm going to talk about how I was the older sibling and I'm going to gloat about how I abused my younger sibling. Because for some reason, this is something we're gloating about now. And it boils my blood a little bit, actually, because we end up with posts like this. Everyone's talking about older sister trauma. I don't have an older sister. I am the older sister. I once duct taped my little brother to a chair and then left him there until my parents got home. And you know what? I'm not sorry. He should never have been dumb enough to let me do that in the first place. He had to learn somehow, and it's my duty in life to teach him these things. No, the fuck it isn't. That's not how this fucking, like, oh my God. How you manage to view abuse you've done in the past and then twist it into justifying it to feel good about your actions is not how we deal about this. That's not how we deal with this. You know, I know you feel guilty about being abusive. I know you feel guilty for the way you treated your brother in the past, but justifying that is not the way to go about it. You have to acknowledge that, confront it, and apologize. I'm sorry it makes you uncomfortable to accept the fact that that is what it was, but you have to accept that and acknowledge that. And you have to apologize in order to help him heal from that trauma. Like, you might laugh it off now, but that doesn't change the fact that it was abuse. And he doesn't want to process the fact that's what it was. And you don't want to process the fact that that's what it was. But you have to do that. You have to live with this guilt because he is having to live with that trauma. He shouldn't have been dumb enough to let me do that. I told him his lesson. No. All it's doing is teaching fear. Right? It's teaching that if you let your guard down, someone you love and trust might turn around and hurt you. It's teaching you to never allow yourself to be vulnerable with people that you love because they might tie you to a chair and leave you in the dark. Like, it just enforces the fact that people who love you will hurt you, and that's okay. And they're doing it for your own good. That's not something we should ever be teaching or justifying. You can't sit here and justify that just because you feel guilty about it. And then again, the comments on this one, someone said, not something you should be proud of, but good for you, to be honest. And yeah, not something you should be proud of. Maybe take out the good for you thing because no. And then someone replied, last week, me and my sisters pinned our brother face down and wedgied him so bad off a fence until his undies ripped. Then we put makeup and nail polish on him and made him wait on us and give us massages. That's actually hilarious. It's so funny. He's so weak. Jesus fucking Christ. This is actually horrific. How are you sitting here and just being like, lol, I traumatized my brother. He had it coming. It's so funny. He's so weak. He just lets us pin him down and like physically abuse him and then manipulate him until he does what we want him to. You have made your brother subservient. Like, you have gotten him to the point where he will do whatever you say, because if he doesn't do what you say, you like physically hurt him, like torture him effectively, pinning him down and giving him a wedgie until his undies rip. And you're here being like, lol, it's so funny. Get help. Holy shit, that is so fucking concerning. The lack of empathy, the fact that like you are able to look at your sibling and view them as not even a person, but just someone who exists for you to take your anger and frustration out. Like, you want to hurt someone or something, and so you direct that towards your sibling. It's like you hear all the, you know, what are the signs of a serial killer or whatever, and it's always that when they're young, they start killing animals and dissecting animals. That's basically what's happening here, right? Like, what were the signs? I don't know, maybe the fact that they're pinning down their brother and then like beating him into submission, but that's just lol funny. Are we like, what? I just feel like I'm losing my fucking mind at the fact people are proud of this. I just truly am so baffled, and my heart like breaks for any people who think that this is normal behavior. If your sibling is doing this to you and then justifying it because they're your sibling, it's not justifiable. It's not okay. If anyone in your life is validating that and saying that it's normal in sibling rivalry, fuck them, because it's absolutely not okay. Absolutely not normal. This is not okay behavior by any stretch of the imagination. And if you're showing off about that and gloating about the fact that you are doing that to someone and causing someone that much psychological and physical harm, you genuinely need to get help. And then we have this one, and this post has 410,000 likes, and it says, everyone talks about older sister trauma. I am the older sister, and let me tell you, I have no regrets. I bullied my sister into being who she is today. She's the funniest motherfucker I know. Great taste in music, can dress, do makeup, hair, stands up for herself, confident, and is honestly my favorite person. So you're welcome. Firstly, how dare you take credit for all of that? How fucking dare you be like, I bullied my sister and now she can dress well, listens to good music, and does good hair and makeup? Like, how are those two things related? What the fuck is wrong with you? And acknowledging being like, yeah, I bullied my younger sister. You should not be your sister's first bully. You should not be someone who's bullying your sister. You are meant to be protecting your sibling. No, it's not your responsibility as a sibling to, you know, protect each other. It's something that you should want to do. You should look out for each other. You should be there for each other. It's definitely not your job to hurt them though and like damage their self-esteem. Like, if she's only dressing well and listening to good music and doing all of this stuff in a way that you like purely because you made her feel insecure to the point she had to change herself to fit your standards, you are a bad person. If someone is changing who they are to fit what you were telling them to be, that's not them being happy. That's them being manipulated and abused and trying to cope with trauma by changing who they are to avoid being hurt further. Sure, you made her who she is, but who she is like masking how she truly feels and who she truly is. Like, she's lost a piece of her identity because she was bullied by someone who was meant to love her. This is made evident through the comments on this as well, because you see a lot of comments that are like, little sister here, most of my insecurities and my inability to open up and be myself came from my sister. I'm the younger sibling, and I can tell you that's all a cover for the real pain I feel. I'm a little sister and I have serious self-esteem issues from my older sister bullying me into being a better person. So I feel like the little sisters here are speaking for themselves. They are saying exactly what I just said. I just needed to emphasize it from their perspective, since I obviously am not a little sister, and also I didn't bully my little sister. You can't like justify your actions and your abuse by manipulating the situation to see it from where you're sitting in order to feel better about yourself and not have guilt over the bad things that you have done. Sometimes you just have to feel guilty. Sometimes you just have to live with guilt. It sucks. I know it sucks, but sometimes you just have to fucking tolerate it. Sometimes you deserve to feel guilty. It exists for a reason. And like, if you confront it and you talk about it and you apologize for it, maybe the guilt will subside a little bit. But I think you deserve to feel a bit guilty if your sibling is feeling insecure and like struggling with her identity. It's unfair that she has to suffer from your actions when you don't feel any remorse at all. Like, that's not fair. It's not fair. When victims have to suffer all of the intensity and all of the emotion and pain, and the abusers themselves don't experience any negative emotions or any remorse or any guilt, like, that fucking sucks. That sucks, right? You need to confront this and have an actual conversation and realize that what you did is fucked up and it's not a good thing. And don't take credit for who she is. You don't deserve credit for making someone who they are for any reason, let alone because you bullied them into it. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. All of this sibling rivalry shit is so fucking bothersome. And I know I just sat here and I probably repeated myself a lot, but I just feel like it's so important to emphasize, because I do really think that so many people tolerate so much from siblings and they don't go to an adult or they don't talk to anyone about it because they're being told that it's normal, that it's just sibling behavior. And, you know, they'll hear from the internet, from places, that siblings fight, siblings have rivalries and little spats, and like, it's really under exaggerating the actual level of abuse that is existing within so many relationships. And I just think we need to talk about the fact that sibling relationships and sibling rivalries and fights is not this. All of these examples mostly were examples of straight up abuse and not just silly, fun, normal sibling rivalries and relationships. You can bicker with your siblings. You can play pranks on your siblings. You can have little fights and things with your siblings. That's totally fine and a normal thing. You live together. You can get under each other's skin. I understand. I know how that works. But ultimately, like, you're meant to love each other and support each other and be there for each other. If you are the one causing pain to your sibling, you need to reflect on why that is and like confront that and deal with it, because your emotions and your shit is not your sibling's problem. And if you are a sibling who is facing actions like this from a sibling, I hope you know that it's not okay and it's not normal. Speaking as someone who is an older sister, I would never ever think to do any of this to my sister. The idea of harming my sister is beyond comprehension to me. I would never cause any sort of physical harm to my sister or any sort of emotional distress to my sister. And if you are being told that you deserve to be hurt or that it's normal to be hurt because you're siblings, you're being lied to and you're being manipulated and you're being gaslit, because that's not okay. You should never want to hurt people. Anyway, I hope that you all keep yourself safe and confront the way that you are treated and the way that you treat people, and have a bit of reflection on yourself and your relationship. I apologize if I've sent anyone into a spiral of any sort, but I also hope that some people have been able to feel validated by this conversation and knowing that the way they're being treated is not okay, and can break out of that gaslighting cycle a little bit, because I know that so many people experience this type of relationship and have convinced themselves that it's okay. And I hope you're able to do something about it, and I hope that something changes. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Aurora, Sienna, Alicia, Marielle, Bree, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic Petey, Sushi, Uh-Oh, It's Crigolo, Phil the Duck, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.